hello there, this is Iastic here. Sorry for not uploaded this one for 4 months, even though I shouldn't have been sorry because, sadly, for this whole channel, it is now going to be moved for the 4th time in a row. That does not mean Google will terminate my channel. It is just that it's very hard to actually just make this decision, but it had to happen. And here is why. I'm gonna be listing a couple of chapters as for like what is happening towards this channel. This video is unscripted, so if you see me messing this up, then sorry. And please watch this for the very end, because I know it sounds a bit boring if you say so myself. But this is important for this channel, and you might not be seeing myself ever again. For now, let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Yeah, I'm gonna be briefing you guys a history back in like August, like in the middle of August, when I was actually traveling to Paris and Lyon, which, by the way, most expensive I've ever made. Like, seriously, 60 euros, 5 days to travel transport during the Paris 2024 Olympics. Let's just move on. So I was actually just doing slow by slow bits of doing first fan viewer voting. This lasted for about like 9 days, and with some depressive with this computer as well. I was actually somewhat having a great time. That is until when I come back to the new channel, when I did come back towards my Lyon-Paris trip. That's where I started to have some mental problems, per se. I wasn't feeling confident of actually just doing this channel, per se. Like, it was not doing well, and I was actually not having a great time. And so what I did was actually asking my mother for actually to just help me out, and he gave me tons of ideas of like a brand new series as well. So I've been working on the series for like these series, which is actually basically based off of Estic, and then 2 new friends, Martin and Samuel, going into some kind of like a summer wacky adventures, which lasts for about like 10 episodes. Which, it was all going smoothly. I already did the intros and some kind of stuff. But later down the line, I was actually more interested in some kind of like, during the progress of like saying, how the heck am I supposed to become famous, I've actually been interested in some storytime animators, like The Odd Ones Out and some kind of stuff. And when I was actually that, I was beyond loved by this whole thing. So much so I really wanted to become like a part of the community. However, things going into some kind of like a tremendous problem. I really wanted to actually just like transition towards the new aesthetic, basically, like actually still keeping the channel, but basically just moving on to a different community, basically. But there are so many things that are now completely outdated that it will take at least weeks in order to do so, which, by the way, it was a regret big time to do this. And so what I essentially did here is that I created a new channel, basically just deleted Xmas09 and basically canceling Macinex brand in its entirety, only naming to Mainx, which is actually going to be my biggest project at the mall, and really difficult to do so. I really wanted to push this thing into like one video per 2 weeks, which, again, unlike with most storytime animators, which is like basically requiring some Adobe or some kind of stuff, I actually just feel like I wanted to continue doing stuff in like Vegas. Well, I could just do that. Speaking of that, I'm just going to be talking about it in the future, in like the next chapter, but if you're really wondering, let's just see what happens. But basically, during the time, I was actually feeling not great throughout the time. And by the end of August, the series was not doing very well for me. I know, it was starting to become a lot more bad, per se. But when I discovered that it will take at least like a year and like that, when I was actually focusing on some kind of stuff, I just don't really want to continue doing that series anymore. Even though I'm going through the progress of that first episode. I need like help on these voice actors, but since I left my channel dead, I just don't really want it to do anymore. And now, pretty much, I have nothing left to actually just come back and just combat this whole thing. And so I just decided to just straight up abandoning this whole channel. Now that does not mean I'm moving everything, like going to just only to MainX. I'm only going to be active and just watching videos through the S-Stick11, but not uploading or uploading posts via S-Stick11. And so we just decided to just cut the chase and literally just scrap it. So, yeah, that's the end of this whole S-Stick11. Now, what is the replacement, you may be asking? I'm revealing to you in the next chapter. Yes, we're going back to the MainX. Now, what does MainX mean, actually, before we begin actually talking about what I'm going to be uploading on that specific channel? Well, it's being divided into 3 parts. MA, basically my initials for my real name. EIN, which is basically based off of like inside source. I usually call this one internal source. And EX, or the outside source, or the external source. These are just names in Portuguese, by the way. Like my nation, by the way. So, what does this mean? Whilst I'm actually going to upload. What does this mean for that name, basically? It means that this will focus on that future content on the inside source of computering, like animations, and outside source like vlogs. That will be the main interest in towards this new YouTube channel. Basically, I will reveal my face. I know most people do not want my face to be revealed. I don't know why, but basically it's based off of like privacy or some kind of crap. But I'm doing it. I'm actually just going to do this in MainX because that way you guys do not want to see me awkwardly walking or some kind of stuff. Which reminds me of what I'm going to upload these shows. For starters, the vlog. I already just like created the 9 episode Paris, like France vlog, which is basically me staying in Paris and Lyon. I've already explained it in like the first chapter. Then story timing, which I've already explained in like, again, on the first chapter. But basically, I'm going to be talking about some stories. Half of those are basically off on towards my channel and my career of being a YouTuber. And the other side is just basically some random and real life scenarios. There's even more stuff, like, basically, if you've seen the community posts for, like, the MainX's YouTube channel, which highly I recommended, you know I've actually been working on a series called Trio Ventures, which is basically S-Stick, and then S-Stick, but then also Samuel and Martin. Now this idea is still in the back works. I've already just made an intro and some kind of stuff in case this series is gonna happen. But there is like it could be actually ended up being canceled because I can't actually just work at least like 1 episode or like 2 episodes at a time because of schools, projects, and some kind of stuff. I can only just work at least like 1. Humans are not capable of doing so. Kind of wish an AI could help out my work, but I can't. But this means that this channel will focus also on skits as well. Which does this mean that S-Stick and Internal are not going anywhere? They'll still be around in MainX's era alongside with my real self, which I will reveal the name in the second video of the MainX era. But at least everything is back to normal, basically. I've already just made scripts of not 1. Like, I've already made a script in, like, in the first video. Probably the second video, actually. And I've already made like the first 2/3 of the script for the first episode of the Trio Ventures. But only time will tell if Trio Ventures will be existable or not. Anyways, I think we should probably just wrap up. Sorry if I'm actually just being like in a messy state right now. We've already I'm actually recording this one at like 1:48 p.m. and I'm actually wanted to actually just continue on making this towards this video, which I really do not want it to, but I have to. Right, let's just finish this thing off with our final message. So yeah, thank you so much for this incredible support I've been having with this channel for like the past 3.5 years. 3.5 years seems to be a little bit enough to actually just do what you gotta do for your own childhood. I've already started making like Al Jaco Safflon content since November of 2020 on my secondary channel, which is no longer available. And in March, when I created my own YouTube channel, instead of just doing logo editing community like basically an idiot, I've just created myself a completely new community basically for the Al Jaco Safflon. Like, it was honestly some kind of a wild journey basically, but with a lot of issues throughout the whole years and a lot of problems. And recently, I think it's actually enough, because I'm actually 14 years old, almost 15. Since I'm a teenager, I can actually just basically just stop doing childhood stuff. And I think this is basically enough. I'm basically entering adulthood right now. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching over the content for like the past 3.5 years. More than 3.5 years, like 5 to 6 years probably. Yeah, 5 years, basically. Since June of 2019, I started creating like computerized YouTube videos. Not animation, but logo editing stuff. I want to thank you for watching this video. I would like to thank some of the AlgoTubers for inspiring me to become an AlgoTuber, like Waitwood, Star Mapping, Electro, Ivy, and basically furthermore, like The Gamer or some kind of stuff, or now Xanadu, or Shining Swarm 25. A lot of those inspired me to become an actual AlgoTuber. So thank you so much for that. I'd like to thank you as well for the OCAR behind the scenes project, for working tirelessly for this huge cancellation project. I would like to thank SamJokes for actually inspiring me to use MSRIE stuff. I would like to also thank you for you guys, even though you guys are no longer available, for continuing to supporting me, even throughout the tough times of this 2020s era. But anyways, as time progresses, we gotta stick towards a new channel. I'll see you all in a future side in Mainex's. Mainex, from inside to outside source. This is Aztec11, signing off for the final time. Goodbye.